Welcome to Lesson 7 in Unit 20, A Playground for All. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, how can we design a playground that everyone can enjoy? There are several opportunities for ELA cross-curricular connections throughout the lesson. You can look for specific standard connections in the Unit 20 Teacher Guide. This lesson will take 6 to 7 days to complete. To begin the engage portion of the lesson, you'll ask students what they've learned about playgrounds so far and what they know about the word inclusive. You'll then use the Read Aloud guide to read the book Included. You'll show students a video of a class raising money for a playground for everyone. You'll ask students what they notice and wonder, then revisit the driving question board. You'll add new questions and highlight any others connected to the learning goals of this lesson by calling attention to questions about how we can design playgrounds that are easier for everyone to use. This lesson has 2 explores and 2 explains. As you start the first explore portion, you'll remind students about the kids in the video and discuss how not all kids can use the equipment on playgrounds. You'll ask, how do you think the playground equipment would need to be designed so kids who use wheelchairs could enjoy it? You'll then divide students into groups and give them the materials for the Simple Machines investigation. You'll have them use the Simple Machines investigation student journal page and the Simple Machine procedures detailed in the curriculum slides. After students complete the investigation, you'll have them complete the Modeling Simple Machines student journal page. For the first explain portion of the lesson, you'll bring the class together and lead a discussion about students' observations from the investigation. You'll use the provided questions to guide your discussion around the question, how can we design a playground that everyone can enjoy? The goal of this class discussion is to analyze student data and explain how simple machines can reduce the amount of force needed to move things, and how simple machines can be used to design playground equipment for kids in wheelchairs or who have other disabilities in movement. You'll use the discussion to fill in the first column of the Lesson 7 summary chart. From the first explained discussion, students should understand that simple machines can be used to make playground equipment inclusive for kids in wheelchairs or who have other abilities. You'll then read The Fort on 4th Street. Use the Read Aloud guide, which includes discussion on the key takeaways. Be sure to update the second row of the summary chart with the science ideas presented during the reading. This is where students will be introduced to the simple machines, effort force, system, component, and interaction vocabulary. You'll then tell students that models can be used to represent systems and their interactions and have students complete the Modeling Simple Machines student journal page. They will develop a system model for the remaining investigation setup. For the second Explore portion, you'll show students the flyer of the benefits of sensory playground equipment. You'll ask about the benefits of sensory experiences as well as what questions students have. You'll set up the materials for the sensory experiences investigation and divide students into groups and show them the 3 types of sensory experience stations. You'll have students use the Sensory Experiences Investigation student journal page during the investigation. For the second explain portion, you'll bring the class together and lead a discussion about students' observations from the sensory investigation. You'll use the provided questions to guide this discussion around the question, how can we design a playground that everyone can enjoy? The goal of this class discussion is to analyze student observations of sensory experiences and how the human body uses a system of parts to respond, process, and react to sensory experiences. During the discussion, you will continue to fill out the Lesson 7 summary chart. From the second explained discussion, students should understand that we can make activities on a playground that engage the senses, like fun things to touch or ways to make sounds. During the discussion, you'll have students read sensory processing. During the reading and discussion, you can post the sense, sensory organ, sense receptor, memory, and perception vocabulary cards. For the elaborate portion, you'll divide students into their architectural design teams and revisit the architectural design process student journal page. You'll share that they will develop the model for components 4 and 5 in the Designing a Playground component 4 and 5 student journal page. Students will reference the Designing a Playground component 4 and 5 rubric for what to include in their design. If you're using physical materials, have them ready for this section. For the evaluate portion, you'll have students do the Simple Machines Quick Check student journal page. To support student sense making across the unit, orient them back to the driving question board. Ask, what did we learn about how we can design a playground that everyone can enjoy? And what new questions do you have? For the optional extend portion, you can encourage students to design and carry out an investigation to answer the question, does ramp height affect the amount of force needed to pull an object up a ramp? Using the Extend Ramp Investigation student journal page. Students will use the ramp's blocks, spring scale, and weights to conduct the investigation. By the end of this lesson, students will have investigated how simple machines can change the amount of work needed for something, used simple machines to design ways to make playground equipment inclusive for wheelchair use, used sensory experiences to design ways to make playgrounds more inclusive. In Lesson 8, students complete their inclusive playground designs. For more information about this unit, visit mysidepartners.com.